students, parents, faculty, members of this board, and Superintendent Nagel. Welcome to Lakeside's 2012 graduation. We truly appreciate all of the faculty, friends, and parents that have come to celebrate this momentous occasion for this year's senior class. My fellow graduates, in a world filled with economic depressions, revolutions, and an upcoming presidential election, it seems odd to think of a high school graduation as such an integral event in someone's life. For some of you, it may be one of the most important days of your life. For others, it's a day you've been waiting to get over since you entered high school. Either way, this event means something to each and every one of you. And it should. After all, we've spent 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 36 weeks a year, for 4 years getting us ready for this point. So what now? We find ourselves at a crossroads. At this point in our lives, we've managed to get by the various challenges our teachers at Lakeside have posed to us. We've conquered the senior project in all of its details, and we've seen Dr. Riddick tackle the kid from Evans on the football field. Unfortunately, all of this pales in comparison to the task we face at hand. Our generation is often labeled by critics as apathetic towards social and political issues. The blatant ignorance many students have often discourages our elders as to the future of our country. However, I believe that this class has the capability to change this opinion. We have brilliant scholars attending colleges such as UPenn, Yale University, and Washington University at St. Louis. We have athletes destined to broadcast their talents at various colleges throughout the nation. This class of graduates has an explosion of creativity, innovation, empathy, and compassion that most others could not even compare to. Our different vantage points make us one of the most connected and engaged generations that have ever existed. Although we have plenty of people to make decisions for us right now, at some point it will be us making the decisions that affect not only ourselves, but our entire nation. We will be asked to solve complex business, social, and political problems as we continue our careers. As you move on in your life, don't always wait for some leader to come save you like a knight in shining armor. Instead, turn to the leader that exists in the mirror. Your future depends on you and you alone. Seize your opportunities and never let failure get in the way of success. When you hit a closed door and it doesn't open easily, don't be discouraged. Kick that door down, not only for yourself, but for those who follow you. Graduates, although I did not know all of you personally, I'm sure each and every one of you will make some sort of impact on the world in the future. And if the world is truly set to end this December, then I am truly glad to have spent it with this class of graduates. I wish you all the best in college and your future years. Congratulations, class of 2012. This is our graduation. In the words of Dr. Riddick, can you dig it?
Good afternoon, graduates. At this time, I would like to introduce to you our Board of Education. Representing District 1, Mr. Wayne Bridges. From District 2, Ms. Christy Baker. From District 3, Vice Chairman Mike Sleeper. District 4, Board Member Roxanne Whitaker. And your Board Chairman, Regina Buckafusco. I offer a special greeting and congratulations to you, seniors. You are a talented and diverse group. Along with your family, your friends, and your teachers, I personally have high hopes and expectations for what you will achieve in the coming years. As you prepare to begin this new chapter of your life, my advice to you is to make a plan and set your goals. Today is the first day of your future. Beginning today, regardless of whether you are continuing your education, entering the world of work, or plan to serve your country through the armed forces, the decisions you make today will determine how you live the rest of your life.
Class. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present Lakeside's 2012 graduation speaker, Mrs. Karen Chase.
When young people think about their futures and imagine having children, what they usually imagine are sweet little babies that coo and gurgle. When I was your age, wondering what my future would hold, I imagined myself nurturing a house full of teenagers. 6 to be exact. As an only child, I dreamed of one day having lots of children, but they always appeared to me as teenagers. I did give birth to 2 beautiful daughters and nurtured them from babyhood through their teenage years and into adulthood. However, I also have been privileged to play a role in the lives of lots of teenagers. I did the math. I know that many of you may find that fact hard to believe, perhaps even comical, but I did math. During my tenure as a teacher, I have had over 3,000 teenagers entrusted to my care. That's a modest estimate. I believe it's fair to say that I not only met, but surpassed my goal. My involvement with teenagers over the past 16 years far exceeds my expectations I possessed as a young girl looking to her future. One of the many cool aspects of my job is that I teach a film appreciation class to upperclassmen. Each spring, we view a series of teen films. Several weeks ago, we were preparing to watch the classic James Dean teen film from the 1950s, Rebel Without a Cause. I explained that while there have always been people aged 13 to 19, they haven't always been a cultural, social, and economic world unto themselves. That world came into full flower in the 1950s, the decade that gave us the wild, moody, rebellious, soulful, and idealistic creature we know as the American teenager. For most of U.S. history, young people were either treated as children or set to work as apprentices, learning adult jobs or domestic skills. As late as 1890, only 6% of children went to high school. But during the Great Depression in the 1930s, Congress passed laws limiting most jobs to adults. By 1940, 2/3 of Americans ages 14 to 16 attended school. With the prevalence of high school came the increasing recognition of adolescence as a distinct phase of existence. In the 1940s, the press began using the word teenager. As we talked in film class about what it means to be a member of this rare breed called the teenager, one of my students who is sitting among the graduates today asked me, "Ms. Chase, what do you think about teenagers?" Knowing from experience that the most meaningful conversations with students occur when I least expect it, I considered my feelings and responded in this manner. Both my husband and I teach. He teaches 4th grade. When we're out in public and meet new people, we're usually asked what we do for a living because that's how adults start conversation. Without fail, the scenario goes something like this. One of us says we both teach. The next question follows like clockwork. "Oh, what do you teach?" Gary responds, 4th grade. His response is met with smiles, nods, and comments affirming his choice of profession. I follow immediately with, "I teach high school." What happens next never ceases to be comical to both of us, even though it happens consistently, almost as if it were scripted. They physically move backwards, lose their pleasant expression, and voice discomfort with my choice of profession, indicating that they would never consider such a career. I always welcome the opportunity to enlighten them about the joys of knowing teenagers, the magical qualities they possess that keep me young, and the richness of their spirit that motivates me to be the best teacher and person that I can be. Being asked by this graduating class of teenagers to deliver their commencement address is particularly meaningful to me. I taught many of you during your sophomore year and have watched you mature into amazing young adults. I have had the pleasure of knowing some of you as students in my senior literature class, through film class, power period, or simply because you are students of my colleagues. My interactions with each of you have made my life richer. Each graduating class has a personality. The combined energy of each senior class creates a synergy that takes on a life and personality of its own and leaves behind a legacy. The defining characteristic of this senior class makes me proud to have played a small role in your journey to adulthood. The defining characteristic of this senior class is your kindness. While all graduating classes stand out in some way, never before have I witnessed a group of people who are so genuinely concerned about the success of everyone, who are so courteous, and who are so much fun to be around. The class of 2012 will always be remembered for the most important character trait of all, kindness. Shortly, you will venture out to find your path, to explore the world, and to fulfill your dreams. With each step along life's journey, that you already have established the most important character trait of all with the guidance of your parents, family members, and teachers, and through interactions with your classmates and friends. You know how to treat people. You know how to build relationships. You are in touch with your heart. No matter what path you take, what career you pursue, what obstacles you encounter, you will be successful because you will turn strangers into friends and make the world a better place. I can make this promise with certainty because I learned from my parents what it means to live a good life. When my father was fighting cancer 6 years ago, my mother secretly sent letters to his friends asking each of them to decorate a quilt square with a fond memory of my dad. She tucked small squares of muslin into all of the envelopes, addressed them, and dropped them in the mailbox. Over the next several weeks, she received over 140 squares of fabric, some elaborately decorated, some crudely configured, some simply embellished. Each one served as a testimony to a life that my father had touched. Over the past 60-odd years, my parents made many, many friends, long-lasting friends. You know how people come into your life and move on, never to be heard from again? Well, my parents don't know people in that way. When people come into their lives, it's forever. Be careful when you befriend the chase, because we take forever friends to a new level. Quilt squares started coming in from people my parents had cultivated friendships with over the years. People with whom my dad went to school. I'm talking elementary school here. People my dad served with in the military 50 years before, as well as many people who had heard about the quilt and contacted Mama to request a square. My mom stitched the squares together to create a friendship quilt to keep my dad warm when the chills of chemotherapy invaded his body. I no longer have my father, but this quilt reminds me of his legacy, a legacy built upon kindness. My parents served as fertile soil for my growth as a human being, and I am so thankful that they instilled within me the importance of valuing people over things. Legacies are meant to be passed on. When each of my daughters graduated, as you are doing today, I gave them a small compass to wear around their necks. This token was meant to serve as a reminder to stay focused on their chosen path and to value each step of the journey, but more importantly, to remember where they came from. Today, as you graduate, I am honored to stand before you and remind you of the legacy that you have inherited. You are about to become a graduate of Lakeside High School. You are a member of the class of 2012, the class that will always be remembered for its kindness. While all of us on this stage will be entrusted with many more teenagers in the years ahead, you will always be ours. You will always have a home. You have been nurtured in fertile soil. As you face life's challenges, remember to value people over things. It's your legacy. As you sing the alma mater together for the last time today, I ask that you envision a compass that you will keep in your mind's eye forever. A compass that reminds you to explore paths based on your passions, to lead each on your journey better than you found it, and to remember that you always have a home. We love you.
Wow, can you believe we're done with high school? For some of us, I'm sure that these past few years have felt like the longest ones of our lives. For others, perhaps, it seems as if we were just entering high school as freshmen several months ago. And for a number of students, like me, high school has this mixed perception where it feels as though we've always been in high school, yet the last couple years have passed as a blur. The perception of time certainly is a fascinating topic, especially at a point in our lives where we are experiencing so many changes. Just under 2 decades ago, this fabulous invention called the internet came into being for all to use. Interestingly enough, our own lives began around the same time. This parallel seems only natural for a generation who has advanced through the school years with the internet as a resource. I don't know what I would have done without Google and Wikipedia over the years. When we were just toddlers without a worry in the world, Titanic became the most successful movie ever. Princess Diana's death in a car crash rocked the world. J.K. Rowling published the first Harry Potter book, and Tiger Woods won the Masters for the first time. We entered kindergarten at the turn of the millennium. In first grade, George W. Bush began his presidency. During our second grade year, the United States was devastated by the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. The collective experience of pain and fear across the nation led to a welcome surge of patriotism that united the country. We were third graders when the Space Shuttle Columbia broke up on re-entry to the atmosphere, stealing the lives of the 7 crew members. Also, the 2003 invasion of Iraq initiated the Iraq War. In 4th grade, NASA successfully sent the robot explorer Spirit to Mars, providing the world with many stunning photographs of the planet's surface. The website Facebook was launched as well. While we were in 5th grade, Stephanie Myers put the finishing touches on her vampire novel Twilight right before she released it. YouTube also first appeared on the internet. We had just entered middle school as 6th graders when Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast and caused billions of dollars in damage and the loss of many lives.
Superintendent Nagel and members of the Columbia County Board of Education, on this 19th day of May, 2012, it is my distinct pleasure to present to you Lakeside High School's class of 2012 as candidates for graduation. Superintendent Nagel and members of the Board of Education, please step forward and join me in the presentation of diplomas and certificates.
The graduating class of 2012. Brianna Catherine Adams with honors. Nicholas Manuel Allers. Kendra Monique Allen. Roger Corey Bonsant. Nicole Rose Boudreau. Brant Elliott Boudreau. Samuel Philip Bowman with honors. Elizabeth Ann Capers with honors. Jeffrey Warren Carney with honors. Dana Michelle Carter with honors. Anna Nicole Cully with honors. Alexis Ladora Curtis. Tiffany Renee Cutright. Lee Edward Dockery. Victoria Anastasia Donahue. Jaquez Corintez de Reginald Donaldson. Santavius Montrell Duggins. Haley Danae Gerard. Tessa Brianna Geyer. John Thomas Gibbs. Alan Martin Harris. Abigail Elizabeth Harover with honors. Natasha Asif Hashmi. John David Hearn. Elijah Ahmad Henderson. Austin James Hendricks with honors. Kirsten Renee Hennon with honors. Andrew Desmond Hull. Harold James Hunt with honors. Preston Edgar Hutto. William Lane. Shaquille Janae Jackson. Lauren Jean Renee Lanier. Jordan Ross Lee. Nicholas Aubrey McDonald with honors. Claire Jennifer Mail. Avery Page Marcus with honors. Rachel Lee Mariano. Sonia Rose McCall with honors. Christy Lee McClanahan. John Clayton McDaniel. Daniel Andrew Newkirk. Kimberlyn Nicole Newsom. Thomas Robbins Newton with honors. Shelby Rebecca Nobles. Heather Michelle Ricketson with honors. Brianna Nastasia Roberson. Courtney Deshay. Mary Evelyn Shirer. Olivia Christine Schwert with honors.
accepted reason why you place the graduation tassel on the right is because you have earned the right to graduate. Moving the tassel to the left during graduation is symbolic of crossing over from high school to another stage in your life. Please take the tassel in your right hand and move it from the right side of your cap to the left.